think all of you have prepared about the means all of you have actually read about the thermochemistry which I have given in the last video. In this video, we will be discussing about the limitations of first law of thermodynamics as well as the spontaneity of the process. See, the thermodynamic first law tells us that energy can be transformed from one form to the another form. Okay, but it does not say about the direction of the changes. Just like, see, if I give an example here, suppose you have taken a hot cup of tea, and if you keep it in a room temperature, means on a table in a room, automatically it will come into the room temperature. But we never have seen this type of amusing fact that suppose we have given some means water and then tea and whatever the ingredients required to prepare a tea, and after that from the surroundings it will take heat and it will become hot. Although the second process whatever I have said, that is also in accordance with the first law of thermodynamics. But see, this process spontaneously does not happen, that it takes heat from the surroundings and it actually gets heated up. Now second thing I have said I can say you that suppose in a container you have taken some water, and now if you spread it, if you actually give a drop of ink over there, you will be observing that the ink will spread throughout the water. But never we have seen this type of amusing fact that the droplet of inks will get accumulated and it will become a droplet again. Although in the second case also the thermodynamics first law is varied. So then a curious question comes in mind: why actually the changes takes place in one direction only? Okay, or why this type of changes takes place spontaneously in one direction? So before we discuss, that is the limitation of the first law of thermodynamics. It does not say about the direction of the changes. Now, before we go to discussing details about the fact, we should know what is called a spontaneous process. Spontaneous process means the process which occurs by their own in a particular direction, or the process which occurs by their own after getting the initiation. Means some processes are there actually which require some initiation at the initial stage. Just like, see, if you want to burn some fuel, then what it required? It required you need to touch a means burning matchstick over there, and after that if you remove the matchstick, the combustion process will automatically occurs there. So this is known as the spontaneous process. So now the question is that why spontaneous process takes place in one direction, or what is the driving force for there? So let us take an example here. We know that the water in waterfalls, water actually falls from the higher level to the lower level. Or if you consider that suppose there is a stone, and if you lift it over from a roof, then automatically it will be moving towards the downward direction. But if we never observe that, automatically this stone or the water in a waterfall rises in the upward direction. Now, why see this process occurs in one direction, that we need to discuss now. See here, when it was at the higher level, its potential energy was high, and when it comes to this level, the potential energy becomes low. And we know that every natural process, actually, every system wants to be stable by lowering its energy. As in this direction, the energy gets lower. So we can say that the process are actually means we can say that this process is spontaneous in this direction. Now, that means, see, that one of the driving forces for a process to be spontaneous is that the delta H should be negative. So now, see, with this criteria, if we try to explain that how the hot cup of tea gets lower, see, actually if we take a hot cup of tea that is at a higher temperature than that of the surroundings, now what will happen? It will lower its energy, and as it is lowering its energy, that's why this process is continuous. Means it's really here in this process del X is negative now. But see, this may be one of the criteria, but this is not the sole criteria or only criteria for a process to be spontaneous. There are many processes out there which occurs by absorbing energy. Many spontaneous processes are there which occurs by absorbing energy. Let us take an example. See, you know that if we keep some water in a container, we automatically observe that the evaporation takes place. And all of you know these things, that the evaporation takes place by the absorption of heat energy. By the absorption of heat energy. But that also occurs by their own. In this case, in this process, this absorbs energy from the surroundings and it gets converted into the vapor. Now the question is that here the del H is positive, then why it is continuous? So then another concept comes here, that is called the randomness, or now we are going to introduce about another term, thermodynamic term, that is the entropy. So what is this you see? Let us consider two gases which are enclosed in two halves. Here one knob is there which will separate the two gases. Suppose here I have taken helium, and in this valve I have taken nitrogen. Two non-reacting gases I have taken. Here, initially if we turn on this knob, what will happen? Both the gases will mix with each other. And see, after actually removing this knob, what will happen? Both the gases will mix together by their own. But we have never seen the fact that the gases automatically will separate after some time. It never happens. Now the question is that actually see, means initially the location of the position of the gas molecule was very low, and now see, as now it gets the new position, means the number of locations has increased, so that it will get more stability. That means see, when the randomness of the gas molecules increases, that gets more stability, and so that another criteria of for a process to be spontaneous may be that increase in randomness, and the increase in randomness is measured in terms of the entropy. Entropy. What is this? The entropy. Entropy is a thermodynamic term. So entropy measures the degree of randomness in a gaseous particles. Okay. Entropy measures the randomness in a gaseous particles or in a particles. Entropy simply that it measures the degree of randomness. Now entropy depends on the heat absorbed by the system or heat released by the system as well as the temperature. Entropy is just a thermodynamic state function, because the entropy also depends on the initial value and the final value. And suppose see, in state 1 entropy is taken as the S1, and in the state 2 the entropy is taken as S2. So S2 minus S1, that should be what? The delta S, or the measure of entropy or the change in entropy. And this delta S is directly proportional to the Q, and the delta S is actually inversely proportional to the temperature. So we can write here the delta S equals to Q divided by T. Means energy, it actually depends. See, if we actually heat the substance, then it will get more kinetic energy and the randomness of the particle will increase. And at the higher temperature, if you consider that at the higher temperature, whatever will be the degree of randomness, at the lower temperature, if we give a heat, the randomness of the particle will be more. So del S equal to Q reversible divided by T. So entropy is also a thermodynamic state function. In the next video, we will be discussing about the second law of thermodynamics and the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. I hope that you have understood about the limitation of the first law of thermodynamics and the introduction of the entropy and the spontaneity of a process. That's all. Thank you.